introduce you to Dr. Joe Griffin, a speaker, consultant, and author's intention is teaching that talk is to broaden their vision. The things they weren't taught when they brought up as children. Reach for the top, regardless of situations, predicaments, or your conditions. He's making history, all of the districts, increasing retention from teachers, 50 to 80%. That ain't all that you hear me. He is the mentor. He paved the way with his tip methodology. Really, dream, be persistent, face fears, seek change, go out and go get it. This what you learning with Dr. Joe Griffin. With Dr. Joe Griffin, yeah. He says recognize trauma, push past the pain. If you got a problem, go look at his frame. Work your perspective and look at it change. Find a goal, set it in critical thing. Manage time, self-awareness. These are the few of the things he's trying to get you to do every day. Do every day. Led 5 schools to increase test scores with his teacher principal collaboration. Things he gives to you will have you take you drive to the next level. But first, you need to get some fuel at gas station. Supporting education leaders, creating a culture for kids that'll last for ages. Lack of access to quality professional development, that's outrageous. Got his doctorate in education, leadership, research, make changes. Need to put the kids first and raise them. Need to teach them they worth, stop playing. Later on, they gon' run this nation. Dr. Joe with his dissertation taught to those who would fix, make changes. I introduce you to Dr. Joe Griffin, a speaker, consultant, and author's intentions. The teaching that talk is to broaden their vision. The things they weren't taught when they brought up as children. Reach for the top, regardless of situations, predicaments, or your conditions. He's making history, all of the districts, increasing retention from teachers, 50 to 80%. They ain't all that you hear me. He is the mentor. He paved the way with his dip methodology. Really, dream, be persistent, face fears, seek change, go out and go get it. This what you learning with Dr. Joe Griffin. With Dr. Joe Griffin.
Great day, leaders. Great day, great day. Welcome to week 26 of the Speaking Life in You Leadership live stream. I am your host, Dr. Joe Griffin, where we talk leadership dynamics, personal and professional growth, educational trends, and we provide solutions to help you with school improvement. Let's go! It's indeed another great day, y'all. Week 26. So thankful. It's such a blessing to be here. I'm thankful. And I hope you all are as well, you all. We got a good show for you today. I definitely hope that everyone is in a good space, in a good place, that you're feeling well, and that you're prepared to be the best that you could be no matter what, each and every day, all the time. As we get started, I definitely want to continue to shout out as well as recognize, ask for silence, moments of silence, as well as prayers to those that are affected in Los Angeles, here in Los Angeles, California, with the wildfires. The rain, it couldn't have been at a better time. It's definitely a blessing to see the rain. It's been a while. And a lot has literally burned up. The city has literally been on fire, and to see that and to be actually in the vicinity, it's been quite an experience. It's been quite humbling, and I'm thankful that it didn't get to this part of the city, quite honestly. But I'm also prayerful for those that had the biggest effect. For the school leaders that are getting ready to jump on, I definitely want to encourage you to prepare for a powerful stretch run. I'm going to say that again. Prepare for a powerful stretch run. February, March, April, generally testing occurs in May. So you got approximately a 90 to 100-day spread, and all of those aren't school days, but you've got a spread of about 3 months all together. Generally, you get about 20 months per day, so about 60 days, and then, of course, you have the rest of the school year, but to prepare for those end-of-year assessments. And to do such, you definitely want to go in prepared. And with that call, I'm just going to tell you, You can make progress. You can change the course of your school year right now. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait till next year to start that upward trajectory. Go ahead and make those changes now. And if you need help with that, I'm going to tell you, get me in there. Let's get about 15 or 20 days in before the end of the school year to ensure that you are resting well, but also your scores are going to be where they need to be, and your leaders, teachers, and students are empowered to be the best they can be. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, share, you all. We definitely want to get those algorithms flowing and going, because we can't continue to hold all this information for ourselves, you all. We got to share out. We got to share out. That's a part of facing your fears. That's a part of self-empowerment. That's a part of also empowering others, because you have to be able to give freely. You have to be able to be secure in what you bring to the table, and also be able to accept what others, whether it be teammates or whether it be other people that are throughout your community, bring to the table. All that is crucial, you all. So definitely let me know where you're streaming in from. If you will, put your town in the comments. Let us hear where you're streaming in from, whether you're live or whether you come back and catch the recording. I definitely want to know where you're streaming in from. Also, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share, you all. And as we get ready to get into today's episode, week 26, which I'm very, very happy to say that we are being consistent. We make sure that we continue to bring value for those that want it. For those that want it, for those that show up weekly, for those that, whether you are random in your approach to watching the Speaking Life in You Leadership live stream, whatever it is, we proud and we happy that you come all of the time. So thank you for that. And as you prepare, I want to give you a quick word before I bring out my guest. And you got to win from within. Winning from within. And it's not just a cliche. It starts inside. It starts internally. And that's whether you're individually or you talk about collectively with you and your team. Win from within. You say, Dr. Joe, what you mean? What you talking about? What does it mean to win from within? I'm going to give you 3 points, and then I'm going to break it down just a little bit, and then we're going to get going with our show. But first off, you got to find joy in the journey. I'm going to say that again. You got to find joy in the journey, in the work, in the grind, in what you're putting in. So often we thinking about the past and we thinking about the future. But what's happening right now? What's that present state? What's that journey looking like? What's that drive looking like? What you're doing every single day to ensure that not only you, but also those people that depend on you, those people that are around you, are you ensuring that you all are on the correct path? Find joy in the journey. You got to see past the agony, past the pain, past the defeat. All that's going to be a part of it. That was spoken. That was a given. We understand that that's going to be part of our journey. But so often we get down and we forget that, no, we got to find also happiness in that pain. Ooh-wee. We also got to find happiness in the pain. And I know that's a tough one to swallow, but we do. Next, you got to find value in failure. It's another opportunity to get it right. Another chance to do it a different way, to alter your program, to alter your perspective, to get that extra consultation, that extra help, that extra push to make those what we thought was impossibilities, to make it possible. I'm going to say that again, to make those things that we thought were impossible, possible. So you got to find value in failure. Failure sharpens you. Failure makes you better. And the third thing is you got to surrender to the work. You got to surrender to the work. You got to allow it to move you into another realm of empowerment for others. Any vision worth achieving is going to benefit others. We have to get out of our own way sometimes, you all. We have to realize that we have to surrender to the work, not the results. I'm going to say that again. Surrender to the work, not the results. The results, they're going to come. They're going to be there. And you could very well do your very best and not get the results you want. Or you could not do a good job at all and have great results. You got championship teams that win all the time. They didn't play their best game. They didn't play their best series. But the work is what you want to put your pride in, not the results. The results, they come in either way. But if you put your work in, you do what you're supposed to do, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get the results that you need. That's a part of the process. That's a part of doing the work. So again, I'm just going to tell you, find joy in the journey. Find value in failure. And you must surrender to the work. And that's how you're going to win from within. And you're talking about individually as well as collectively. Because on a team, you got to ensure that you're also empowering others to do the same. And that's how we keep the train moving, you all. With that being said, we're talking empowerment today. We're talking about winning from within. We're talking about one of America's, I want to say, lost statistic, sometimes forgotten about statistic, but in that same breath, it's more than a statistic. I'm gonna let that sink in for a minute, because I'm talking to somebody out here, because we need the word out. Y'all like, comment, subscribe, share, y'all. We got a good one coming today. I'm going to get ready to bring out my guests, you all. And as we do, what are some mentoring? Who in the crowd engaged? What are some mentoring aspects that you've seen work in your community? What are some mentoring aspects of mentoring that you've seen in your community? I'm bringing out I don't see you, brother Onae. There he is. Okay.
We here.
Chatman. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm good. I'm good.
Pleasure to have you on here, man. I'm about to do your bio, and then we're going to get into a wonderful conversation. Definitely appreciate you blessing the platform with such a heavy topic tonight. Mr. Onae Chatman. Let me take this down. Mr. Onae Chatman. He's the founder and CEO of the Chatman Consulting Group, LLC, serving as the lead educational consultant for K-12 schools, colleges, and universities nationwide. His many achievements include being named Young Entrepreneur on the Rise by the state of Mississippi, receiving the prestigious Gardner C. Taylor Award for Leadership and Excellence, and recently receiving the prestigious NAACP Community Service and Humanitarian Award for his outstanding work with the Black youth in the state of Mississippi. His educational journey includes attending the University of Mississippi, earning a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from the University of Phoenix, also the Master's of Christian Education degree from the historic Morehouse School of Religion, Atlanta, Georgia. Onae recently founded the Young King Gentleman School for Boys, located in Tupelo, Mississippi. The Young King Gentleman School is a life skills academy for boys aged 8 to 18. This school has experienced tremendous results and continues to serve as a community mentorship pillar for boys looking for mentorship and guidance. Through his visionary leadership, the school has been able to provide many youth with scholarships and business development tools. The Young Kings Gentleman School is one of the premier mentoring academies for boys in the state of Mississippi. Onae is the published author of, listen to this, 28 books, and is currently pursuing his doctoral degree in educational leadership. Definitely great luck on that journey. He has served as a guest lecturer for various colleges, including the Jackson State University, Wiley College, Miles College, Rusk College, Harris Stowe, University of Wisconsin-Madison, Morehouse School of Religion, Georgia State, and Texas Southern University. He continues to blaze trails in the field of education and community activism. Onae lives by the motto, just keep showing up because we all have work to do. Hello, Mr. Onae Chatman.
Man, salute to you, King. Glad to be here.
Thank you for coming, man. Thank you for coming. Definitely appreciate it. And mentorship is our primary topic tonight, and I know that that's one of your trademarks, one of your key areas of excellence, and one of the things that you pride yourself in. And so we want to definitely jump right in. And I kind of want to know, and I'm sure the viewers want to know as well, want to know about what gave you the idea to start this Young Kings Gentleman School, and tell us a little bit about the program.
So what gave me the idea was actually a dream. And I don't mean a daydream. I mean a literal dream. I was dreaming one night, and in the dream, somebody calls me on my phone, and they says, God has a message for you. I'm like, okay, God got a message for me. All right. I'm like, what is it? And on the phone, the person says, these boys need a hero. I said, wow, a hero. I'm thinking, surely I'm about, he could use somebody else. You talk about a hero, me? Right. And, it just became clear as day that I had to listen to what I was shown in that dream. So I instantly start putting this thing together. Me and my team start working. We start putting it together. How we going to do this? How we going to launch the Young Kings Gentleman School? So we went and we found somebody that would let us use their fellowship hall at their church. And that day we launched, man, and listen, the rest has been history, man. Our first meeting had about 25 boys that came out, man, and we got so many testimonials from that particular session, from how great it went, from the parents and stuff like that. Just teaching boys life skills, how to iron clothes, how to wash clothes, how to change flat tires, just basic life skills that people don't teach anymore, that you don't get in school anymore. And so from that day, man, we just continued. And that same year, we was able to do a banquet that year, man. And we had 160 people to show up to our very first banquet that we had for the Young Kings Gentleman School. So we've been going ever since.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And I heard you talk about some of the things that you actually do with the young men, ironing clothes, fixing the flat tire, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sure you do a whole lot more as well. And I also know that I come from the home of the blues, one of the poorest regions in the nation, Clarksville, Mississippi.
Yeah. And
to be out here in California now, of course, that's a big vision in comparison, meaning that it's a lot I have never seen before I had reached this journey. So I say that and ask you, what are some of the challenges that you're seeing that we face, young Black men face, young Black males face, whether it be personally, professionally, and how do you tackle those issues?
Well, what I've discovered is that more than anything, our young Black boys face a challenge of self-identity. They have a self-identity problem, and we have a self-identity problem in general as Black people because of our history, because of being brought here and stripped of our very identity, and now we're having to always try to rebuild who we were, where we came from, giving ourselves that identity once again, to be able to have the kind of confidence that allows us to walk through life with our head up. We saw that from our ancestors. We saw that from those fighting in civil rights. We saw that from those who pushed through Jim Crow, right? They're saying, hey, we are this group of people. We come from this type of identity, and you're not going to run over us because we deserve to have the same rights that you have. And so what I see now is that self-identity piece that's missing from a lot of our young men. They don't know who they are, especially aside from who they are on a football field, who they are on a basketball court. And the question I'm asking them is, when you take that jersey off, who are you? When you leave that football field, who are you at your very core, right? And so I start them off with stuff like the miseducation of the Negro, so that we can begin to teach them self-identity and to begin to identify as a young Black male living in America, trying to be productive and do the things you need to do to be successful.
Love it, love it, love it. And definitely, that's definitely needed. That's definitely needed. So I heard you mention identity and identity tied to mentorship.
Yeah.
Because it's just a whole lot of things that we don't get in our communities, that we don't get from our families, and even from our friends. So when we try to tie that identity crisis that you just mentioned to mentorship, what does that look like, and what kind of advice do you give to educators who are attempting to implement mentorship programs?
So what that looks like is the mentor actually showing up prepared to actually pour into the students. There's an old African proverb that says, when the students are ready, the teacher will appear, right? And so you have these eager students who are ready to learn. They've just been taught away from their identity. But when you show up as the mentor, you show up saying, hey, I'm coming with something of value to pour into you. And I know that if I get this on the inside of you, it's going to change your very life. And so that's why we've been able to see our work go all across the nation, even the world, because we come ready to pour. We come ready to pour into that young man that, hey, you're not a thug, you're not somebody baby daddy, you're not a hoodlum or whatever they call you. No, you're a young king. I'm very intentional about why I call my program the Young King's Gentleman School. I want you to get in your mind that you are a young king, that you're not what they call you in the media, that you're not what they said about you, but that you're more than that, right? So a little bit about my story. I was born to 14-year-old parents, dirt poor in Mississippi, right? But I had to overcome, I had to learn that, hey, it does not matter your background. Does not matter where you came from. You can achieve. It was Magic Johnson that said I was born poor, but I never dreamed poor. So what I'm trying to get in their mind is that you may be born poor, but I don't want you to dream poor. I want you going out the life with everything you have every single day of your life. I want you going hard because you can achieve. I've seen it too many times. Nobody can tell me that these boys cannot achieve because I've seen it up close and personal, and I believe in it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And with that being said, I definitely want to get some crowd engagement here. What is, if you've ever been mentored, what's the one thing that stuck out from you all? Put it in the chat. Share with us in the chat. We definitely want to explore it, even if you just think about it to yourself. But if you've ever been mentored, what was the one thing that you took away from that particular mentor? Because you may be able to reframe that and give it back to someone else again. And that's crucial, you all. We have to constantly think about ways that we can empower others. It can't always be about ourselves. We have to also remember that we must empower others. And you just mentioned national impact. And I know that in order to have a national impact, you also have to have a community impact, and you have to continue to push from that aspect as well. Tell us a little bit about your impact at the state and national level as far as some of the things that you've been able to accomplish with your programs.
So when it comes to the state and national level, so when I started the Young King's Gentleman School, many people began to latch on to it. They saw it. It kind of went viral on my Facebook page. People began to say, hey, can you bring the Young King's School to California? Can you bring it to Georgia? Can you bring it to Alabama? Can you bring it to all these different places? So what we began to do was we began to actually do a Young Kings tour where we would come on a Saturday and that place would have young boys come out, and I would just teach them for about 2 to 3 hours in those particular locations. The same thing that I would teach them if I was back home in the Young King School. I taught, so it became like a traveling school. And that's what it's always been. It's kind of been like a traveling mentoring program where I'm able to go anywhere in the world and give them the Young Kings model. And the model is very simple. Listen, it's nothing that I didn't recreate the wheel. We've always had freedom schools in our community. We've always had Saturday schools in our community taught by our ancestors. Listen, when they used to bring young people together, they didn't just teach them the Bible. They didn't just teach them Moses and Abraham. They actually taught them math. They actually taught them science. They actually taught them life skills, right? So I didn't recreate the wheel. I just really jumped in on what our ancestors had already established already. And so I said, okay, how can I get in on this Saturday school model that teaches these boys these particular life skills? And how can I make sure that they have these life skills going forward? Because if you walk into schools anywhere in the nation, the first thing you're going to notice is there's a total breakdown in the life skills component. There's a total breakdown in emotional intelligence. Kids can type entire paragraphs through text, but if I bring them in front of the room and tell them to start a conversation, they cannot even start a conversation. Right? That same kid that just wrote 3 paragraphs in text, but he can't come in front of the class and start an actual conversation. And so that lets me know that they need EQ skills. And so I just began to implement even more emotional intelligence skills into the Young Kings model so that I'm able to teach them those skills they're going to need going forward, being able to hold gainful employment and all these different things. They're going to need life skills going forward. And so that has been our mission.
That is a great way to make lasting impact. And I kind of want to expound on that a little bit, because so often we get things in that help us for the moment. We come in, we hear a motivational speech, and it lasts for that day. Mm-hmm. And after the person leaves, there aren't any materials. There's no revisiting to the action plan, or there was never an action plan that was ever formed to make that lasting impact. And quite frankly, that's one of the things that I feel like I try to differentiate when I go into a school, to ensure that we give things that are going to make that lasting impact for your leaders, so that they can put in place for your teachers, and the teachers can then push that down to students. And you touched on a little bit about it, but I do want you to kind of expound on it a little bit more, if you will, when you talked about that SEL piece, that social emotional learning piece, or that emotional quotient piece, that EQ piece. Just talk to us a little bit more about that and how it helps to build self-esteem, control, or not necessarily control, but to improve behavior as well as confidence.
Yeah, so what that looks like is me going in. So people often say, what curriculum are you going to bring? What are you going to leave with us? Listen, I got 30 books now. I know my bio say 28. I've done 2 more since I wrote that bio. I'm at 30, right? So I go in with my own material. I got my own SEL material. I got decision making. I got team leadership. I got whatever you need in terms of curriculum to help in the area of emotional intelligence. And what that looks like is we go in and we do several presentations. Sometimes they flip the room. So 45 minutes, I get this group of boys, next 45 minutes, another group of boys, next 45 minutes, another group of boys. So I'm seeing different boys, but I'm giving them these presentations on emotional intelligence. And so they're leaving with life skills. They're leaving with stuff that they've never heard before in their life. They're leaving knowing that they can be leaders. Most of the time when they walk in the room, nobody has ever told them that they can be leaders. Nobody has ever looked them in their eyes and said, young man, you are a leader. You're not a follower. You are an actual leader, right? So I'm the first one that's ever looked at them and said, look, I need you leading from this point forward. And so what they would do is they'll actually let me start a leadership institute within the school. So that they'll give me about 15, 16 boys that I work with over the course of a year, and we just build leaders. Because the goal is to get them into a place where when they walk down the hall, people respect them, not just for being athletes, but people respect them for being great students. People respect them for being great people. People respect them for having morals, for having integrity, for not stealing your stuff if you put it down, for being students that actually get it. That's what I want. I want students that the light bulb go off. I want students that actually get it, that when you show up in the school space, you've actually shown up to a community. This is not just a place where you come to learn. This is an actual community, and every community has rules. Every community has guidelines. Every community has things that you have to go by, that you have to live by. So what I'm trying to teach them is that when you walk into this community, you're walking into a space that you expected to be a leader, that we have expectations here, right? Because what I've noticed, I've gone around and there are people that have low expectations, but Dr. Joe, I found out there are people that have no expectations of our children.
Wait.
Right? And so what I'm saying is when you walk into this space, we have an expectation of you to be great. You're expected to be great. You're expected to be phenomenal. You're expected to come in here ready to learn, ready to go every single day. And that does not change in our community.
Yeah. That's that winning from within there. That's that being who you need to be. That's that putting in the work to get to the results. That's that being present in the moment. I love that, Brother Onae. I appreciate you bringing that to life right there. And with that, again, got some participation in the chat. Had Dr. Sheikah Houston participate. Good leaders capitalize. Brother Smith, he said, awesome job. We definitely appreciate you all participating in the chat. So that kind of goes into the books, the intellectual property. First off, I commend you for continuing to write. I commend you for continuing to produce, to be creative, and so forth. That's kind of, to me, it seems like it's so often looked down upon, but it should be something that we push up. It should be something that we magnify. I love to write as well. So once you have created your materials and things of that nature, can you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to keep publishing? I know you mentioned the dream, but what inspires you to keep publishing?
Well, what inspires me more than anything is that when I went into schools, the first thing I noticed was that they never had material that looked like the children I was coming to teach. So they never had materials with black boys on the cover, with brown boys on the cover, with anything. And so I said, listen, I'm not one of those people that wait around until somebody else create the material, because I tell educators, you are the scholar in the room. You got the master's degree. You got the bachelor's degree. You got the doctoral degree. You are the scholar in the room. So that means you don't wait for people to create material. You create it. You don't wait for them to write it. You write it. So that has always been my mindset. That's why I have so many books, because I just believe if they don't have the material, I'm not going to wait for them to create it. I'm going to create the material. I'm the scholar in the room, right? And so that's what I believe, is that whenever you see a gap in education, you're sent to fill that gap. We're building a wall. It takes a brick. We're building a community. It takes bricks. Everybody has to bring their brick to the process, or we cannot build what we're trying to build. And so for me, part of bringing that brick is creating my own material, so that when I walk into that space, I'm the scholar in the space. I come with my own material. I come with my own curriculum. that I can really teach from and get them where they need to be.
I hear that, and I receive that. So for some of our viewers who may not quite understand, I want you to make it plain. How does mentorship, books, how does that and what you bring in, how does that help leaders lead the school improvement process?
Okay, how it helps is everything is going to be in congruence with what you're trying to produce in terms of leadership, right? So if you're trying to lead this building, you're trying to lead this district, you're trying to make everything, get everything better. You want scores to go up, right? Well, it's first going to take SEL. It's going to take that social emotional learning. Listen, it's hard to sit down and do math when I'm hungry. I hadn't eaten last night, right? Somebody got to deal with the social and emotional, right? And we know all the numbers and the statistics that show how doing SEL helps grades go up. Yeah. Excuse me. And all these different things. So that's how it's going to help the district, is by having these materials, by operating in the social and emotional. That's going to help that student become a whole student. It's going to help them become whole in the classroom. When they show up, they can actually show up as their true and authentic selves, because somebody has actually dealt with the social and emotional part of them and not just bombarded them with tests. But how about first we find out how you're doing? How about we find out your background? It's hard to teach me if you don't know me. Mm-hmm. So that's how it's going to help, is that it's going to be in congruence with what you're trying to do already in the classroom. So I don't want people to see SEL as something extra in education.
That's right.
But I want you to see it as something that's central to education. Don't view it as extra. View it as central to education, because it truly is education.
Yeah. It should be within the realm of how we already operate.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, you know, if you're looking at SEL as something extra, that means you haven't quite tapped into your social awareness piece. You don't understand what's going around you. You don't realize that there is more than just you in the world. Self-awareness is me understanding my perspective, but it's also understanding that it fits within the world concept, within the team concept, if you on a team, so that we can all be successful and we can have high performance. That's part of that winning from within piece as well. I appreciate you, brother Onae. So with that, I know we want to turn a little bit into coaching the adults for greater impact, because mentorship is not just for students, it's not just for teachers, it's also for leaders. Mm-hmm. In order to maximize impact, leaders, we also need mentoring. We also need to be able to have someone that we can look to for a different perspective, to pour into us as well. So often forgot, but everybody needs someone to mentor. You might call it a coach, whatever it is that you call it. But how does that translate down from when you're dealing with adults, you're coaching the adults? How does that pass down from the school level into the community?
So the interesting thing about SEL is that all three levels use the same wheel. So if you've ever heard of the Castle wheel, and that's the major research that was done by the Castle organization on social and emotional learning, people can look that up. The same wheel is used on all three levels. So you're talking about corporations who need EQ training, they use the Castle wheel. You're talking about colleges and universities, they use the same Castle wheel. Talking about K-12 students, they use the same Castle wheel. So what that says is that EQ is something needed across the board, and that the same self-awareness and social awareness and self-management and decision-making skills that you need when you're in the first grade, these same skills that we try to teach you when you're in the first grade, guess what? Those same skills are needed for adults.
Definitely.
Because what corporations are now understanding is it does no good for us to go get a bunch of people from Harvard, a bunch of people from Yale, a bunch of people from Princeton, a bunch of people from Stanford, and they get in the workplace and they can't even work together. So you can have all the degrees on the wall, but you have no EQ skills. You don't know how to talk to people. You don't know how to work with people. You have no teamwork, no team building skills, right? So that's what corporations are learning. So that's what you see even in Silicon Valley. What you're seeing is that they are now beginning to relax some of their degree standards. They used to have this high degree standard. You have to have this type of degree, that type of degree. Now they're saying, we want people that are high in emotional intelligence. We've seen enough people that were high in IQ. We got all those people that we can stand, but they're not coming in high in emotional intelligence. And so that's why we're teaching these skills on the lower levels, so that when they become adults, they have been trained in these particular skills, and now they're ready to go into the workplace fully prepared. And so that's how it translates to the community. So you'll say, oh, how do these skills translate across the board from K-12 all the way up to your Fortune 500 corporations? They all need emotional intelligence, and they need those skills right away.
Definitely. Powerful. And I was listening to you talk, and you took me back to childhood, because that's one of the things that I've been expressing, and is that we've got to make the information available. We've got to put our young men and our young women too, for that matter, in situations where they know what networking is.
Yeah.
Where they know what decision making is and how to make a critical decision. That they are put in situations where they know that they can be resilient, that resilient is something that is formed. Yeah. It's something that you can develop. It's something that you can train your brain for. It's not something that you have to, that's not within you already. So often we get down, we get out, we fail, we quit, we don't keep going, and we don't realize that that's not what's for us. That's not what's for us. It's for us to continue. Failure sharpens you. Failure helps you to make those adjustments so that you can get it right. If you get it right the first time, all the time, you're not going to appreciate it. You're not going to appreciate the value in it. So that's that trust in the process. That's that putting that work in every single day. So again, I appreciate you for that. Miss Yvonne Fields in the chat. Your platform is God approved, assisting learners to maximize their innate potential so they can fill their space in this wondrous world. This professional gentleman gets the essentially of SEL. It's foundational. Yes, indeed. Thank you for that, Miss Fields. We definitely appreciate your participation. Like, comment, subscribe, share, you all. We definitely want to share this information. We want us all to be empowered. We want us all to have the information that we need to keep moving forward in the face of adversity, in the face of conflict, no matter what you see, no matter what's in your way. Again, if you've ever had a mentor or a coach who changed your career path, share a quick story in the chat. Someone needs to hear it, you all. If you've had a mentor that made a difference in your personal or professional life, put it in the chat. Someone needs to hear from you today. Appreciate the people who are participating. All right, with that being said, Brother Onae, what advice, what takeaway would you give to leaders, educators, even students for that matter, when in reference to Chatman Consulting LLC?
Well, first, let me give some advice in general on leadership. We need more leaders that are bold. We need more leaders that are willing to stand up, especially in this day and time. We all see what's going on around us. This is not the time to lay down on leadership. This is not the time to take a back seat on leadership. Whatever skill you bring to the table, it's time to put it on the table. There's no more holding skills in your pocket. No. Whatever skills you bring to the table, it's time to put it on the table. Yes. Because we are being pushed back 150 years or more. Everything that our ancestors fought for is being pushed back. So we need leaders in education that are willing to come to the table and say, we're willing to be imaginative. We're willing to bring our ingenuity to the table. We're willing to put it all out there. We're willing to put it all on the line. That's the kind of educators that we need in front of our young people. We need some bold educators. That's what leadership really is anybody can lead when everything is going good. But now that everything has become shaky, how is your leadership going to go to the next level? What are you going to bring to the table to take your leadership to a whole nother level? How are we going to be able to look at you and say, okay, that's a leader that persevered through the rough times? And so that's the message I want to give in general. In terms of the Chatman Consulting Group, we're going to continue with SCL. That's what we're going to do. We're going to continue in our lane. I stay in my lane. I like to stay right there in SCL with black boys. I mean, I can teach anybody, and I've taught all students, but I like to stay in my lane working with black boys because that's what we've seen the most results from with the Chatman Consulting Group. And we can come in and work with your school, work with your organization. We go to churches, nonprofit, wherever youth. Hey, look, wherever youth are assembled, we got a message for them. Yeah. Wherever youth are assembled, we have a message for them. So that's what we're gonna do as leaderships in the Chatman Consulting Group.
Definitely. Wow, that is wonderful information. Mentoring change lives. It can definitely add depth to anyone's knowledge base. Adults need mentors. Teachers need mentors. Leaders need mentors. Students need mentors. We all need mentors. I have several mentors that I depend on for advice. I call, I ask questions, I ask perspective, because many of them have been through some of the things that I've already been through. And even those that have not, it still give you a different lens to see it from. You know, we got these glasses on. We see different when we put them on. But then when we add in another perspective, it gives us even more to think about and more to add into what we already know. So with that being said, I want to challenge everyone, listeners, to do more within the mentoring realm. I'm going to say it again, to do more within the mentoring realm. And that's more of your picking somebody up. Take the opportunity this week to ensure that you pick somebody up. Mentor them, give them some good advice, give them a boost, encouragement. Tell them to keep going and give them something actionable that they can use as well. Brother Onae, I tend to have a few viewers weekly. They tend to check us out. If you will, and I'm sure you will, leave your information for them. Let them know how they can contact you, how they can get in touch with you in case they need you for some service.
Okay, so you can find me on Facebook at OC Chatman. OC Chatman. On everything else, I'm Professor Chatman. That's on IG, TikTok, all that. I am Professor Chatman. YouTube, Professor Chatman. But on Facebook, OC Chatman. My website is onaechatman.com. That's ONAE Chatman, CHATMAN.com. So you want to book me, there's a booking form right there on the website that'll come straight to my email, and I'll get right back with you in terms of booking. So that's my information. I'm mostly, my main platform is Facebook. Follow me there. There you see all my information. OC Chatman.
Awesome. Good stuff. And as always, viewers, I pledge to bring solutions. Brother Chatman brought a number of solutions to help you with your educational issues, help you with your personal and professional leadership. That's one of the things that we prepare to do, and hopefully you're able to get some great notes Remember a few things that we talked about: building structured mentorship programs, providing leadership and life skill development alongside the academics. We talked about fostering community partnerships, as well as we talked about making action plans for improving decision making and critical thinking. So all of those things are solutions for your issues. And of course, today we were talking about empowering Black males. So we definitely appreciate that. Thank you so much, brother Onae. Also, you all, if you want to get in contact with me, definitely want you to have my email, website address as well. I'm sure that many of you have it already, but I definitely want to put it up for you also to ensure that we keep things out front. Have a number of resources that we talk about. That's the wrong one, you all. Oh, some test scores there. We have some resources. We got a little drag here, you all. We've got resources as well. We'll put them up. They came out of the, got a real bad drag here on my computer. Well, we just won't do that today. But otherwise, I definitely want you to ensure that you reach out, you all. Just one phone call away, one email away. Again, we are hitting the stretch run in our schools. We have about 90 days prior to end of year testing. And you need to do something different. You got those benchmark grades in, you got those test scores in. It's not hitting where you need it to be. What are you going to do differently? What kind of implementation are you going to do to supercharge the instruction to ensure that students make those academic marks, to ensure that teachers perform at their highest capacity? What kind of structure do you have in place? I ask you that all the time, because school improvement is not a singular process. You got to have collaboration. You got to have a team on board. You got to ensure that you involve everyone in the process. So enjoy what you do, y'all. Again, I'm Dr. Joe. We getting ready to sign out. Always speaking and writing life into you. Onae, hold out for a minute. Otherwise, you all have the best day. Thank you so much for joining the Speaking Life in You Leadership live stream.